Hello everybody, I hope you're doing great. It's the Pokemon player. I'm back with the bald haircut from the confinement. I mean, you know, you're at home, might as well have some fun with it. And I'm also back with a Mega Rayquaza deck that I think you guys might like. I think Mega Rayquaza is getting really solid with the new cards that we've gotten that we can add to it. So let me show you just what my list looks like, and we can get started. So, obviously we're playing a 3-3 line of Mega Rayquaza. That's kind of the point of Mega Rayquaza, and space is a little tight, so that's why we're playing only 3 of the Rayquazas, and that is also why we're playing only 3 Shaymin. Put it down in your hand, draw 6 cards. You guys all know it. It's one of the most useful cards in the game, especially in Expanded, and definitely very useful for Rayquaza since we're trying to fill up our bench. That's why we're playing 4 of these Sky Field cards that gets our bench up to 8 Pokemon. The real key here to the new Mega Rayquaza is Triple Acceleration Energy, which gives you 3 colorless energies when attached to an evolution Pokemon, which is exactly what you need for Mega Rayquaza. Just gets discarded at the end of the turn, so you do want to have a few rolling. I can speak there. I can't do it again. You want to have a couple of those rolling, but you know, in today's meta, you're either taking 2 prizes per turn or 3 prizes per turn. 1 prize decks are actually pretty rare, which makes them kind of your a good counter matchup against this deck. But they are pretty rare. We're hitting with tag teams and everything nowadays, and we're actually sometimes one-shotting tag teams, so you don't need that many energies. And we are running 2 special charges. These guys get you 2 special energies back into your deck at a time. Each, so that we're looking at potentially 8 special energies, which would be 8 attacks. So hopefully you do actually, you do manage to get your knockouts. It happens. You can trust me on this. So, this is actually a deck profile that I recorded a little bit after the games because there was a mix-up when I was filming it. So the only change you'll see with the games is that I changed Professor Sycamore for the Professor's Research. It doesn't change much, it's just the art. And I was running a Mysterious Treasure to go search for the Rayquaza, and more importantly the Hoopa, because Hoopa is one of the Pokemon you search the most for, or even Tapu Lele. But Quick Ball gets you all of those and a lot more of the relevant Pokemon in this game. So, yeah, we're definitely playing 1 Quick Ball. I am going to play Ultra Ball over Quick Ball, though, because we can get the Megas. That's the only difference. But the thing is, we're playing 2 Exeggcutes here. Exeggcute, for those of you who don't know, once during your turn, you get to just put it back into your hand, and that's actually more than once during your turn, because every time it goes back into your discard pile, the ability resets. So really, as often as you want, you can put it back into your hand, which is really useful, because we're running some tag team supporters, we're running Ultra Ball. We don't want to discard cards from our hand. We've got some really precious resources in this deck. We don't want to be discarding them. So that's definitely why we're playing Exeggcute, and which makes Ultra Ball a better choice over Quick Ball, because it just gives us the option of taking Mega Rayquaza instead of something else. The cool thing about Ultra Ball too is that you do discard cards, and we've got a bunch of supporters. We're playing one-ofs in most of these cases, and you don't want to be searching them out with Tapu Lele. You usually won't have the space on your bench, so we're running obviously 4 versus Seekers, and you definitely want to have those versus Seekers on your bench. It's kind of I mean, my bad. What am I even saying? We're running 4 versus Seekers, of course, so you definitely want to have these supporters in your discard pile rather than in your deck. So it's kind of sweet to be able to discard them. That's why we're running the 1 Battle Compressor. It's for these Exeggcutes, so you can get them out as fast as you need to. So you can actually not discard when you don't want to discard, and you can get the few key supporters that you really want. Like usually you want to go for a Guzma Hala, maybe Professor's Research, some of the really key supporters. You can get them out super early. So let's look at the rest of the deck. We've got our Rayquaza lineup. We're playing with a 1 Dragonite-EX. For those of you who don't know what Dragonite-EX does, he's got this really good pull-up ability, which allows you to get 2 basic Pokemon from your discard pile onto your hand. So it's almost like Hoopa, except instead of 3 Pokemons, you get 2, and Hoopa only picks up 3 EXs, which is kind of most of your Pokemons here. But Dragonite does pick up some of the, can pick up some basic non-EXs as well. So it's really good when your Sky Field gets bumped and you have to discard a bunch of your basic Pokemon. You can just pull out a Dragonite, and the Dragonite will take care of getting your Pokemon back into your hand for you. And it's into your hand, not onto your bench, so you can reuse Shaymin and stuff. It's really, really good. We're playing the 1 Sudowoodo. It limits your opponent's bench space to 4, so that's really good. That way you're using the Sky Field. They're not. They're limited. I mean, you kind of cut the space in half if you've got the Sky Field in play. And the 1 Magearna. Now, this Magearna is really, really key to the game. You've got this ability, Change Clothes, which allows you to put an item card from one of your Pokemon back into your hand once during your turn. And that's really good, because you definitely want to be Spirit Linking your Rayquaza so you don't lose your turn when you're evolving. But then, The thing about Rayquaza is when you've got 8 Pokemon on your bench, that's 8 times 30 damage, that is 240 damage, and that's where he caps out. And 240 is honestly not half bad, but it's not quite enough for the tag team Pokemon that you're meeting in the meta right now. So, we're running Choice Band, and the cool thing is, with Magearna, you can take the Spirit Links off, pop on a Choice Band, and now you're hitting for 270, and 270 is kind of a golden number. Except for ADP, which is a 280 HP tag team Pokemon, and I'm thinking maybe you should run Alolan Zigzagoon in here for ADP, but that's another matter. Except for ADP, most of the tag teams and then obviously every other Pokemon in the meta will be falling to this Emerald Break. So we're actually looking at the numbers really line up pretty well. As far as tools are going, we're running 2 Rayquaza Spirit Links because you can pick them back up with Magearna, so you don't really need that many. You can just kind of pick them up, put them back down. The 1 Float Stone because space is tight. I wish we could run more, but we can't really. And the 2 Choice Bands because that is actually pretty relevant. We're often going to need to be hitting for a few extra damage. As far as Pokemon, I mentioned all of these. The 1 Tapu Lele, just for consistency, it kind of acts as a 4th Shaymin, but I mean, as far as maybe getting an Ultra Ball for new hands goes, Shaymin does that, but Tapu Lele does as well. It's honestly not half bad, and sometimes you do get the perfect supporter. You're running a bunch of supporters for every situation you might encounter. Tapu Lele is sometimes a very, very good card for that. And finally, we're running 1 Keldeo. I added this one kind of late, but the thing is, Hoopa, you don't always search for cards that you really need with it. As for your first Hoopa, you're going to get a Rayquaza, but if you already have one out, you don't really need one. You're going to get maybe a Mega, but if you don't have the Spirit Link, you don't need one. Sometimes you find yourself not really knowing what to search for. So this Keldeo, you pop it onto your bench, and it's really sweet. If you get yourself a Float Stone on it, the Keldeo has the ability Rush In, which allows you to pop right into the active. So with the Float Stone, you can pop into the active, retreat, and get anyone you want into the active. So that means that if they try to Guzma up, like some heavy retreater like Dragonite-EX, you don't have to put your Float Stone on Dragonite. You just have it already on Keldeo, and Keldeo will take care of retreating for you. So that's really sweet. More importantly, it's kind of a techie add-on, but the thing is, you've got Hoopa and you've got to fill up your bench either way. So it's kind of a sweet EX, easy to search for, and it's definitely nice to have in there. We're playing the 1 Adventure Bag, gets you your tools. You're only running the 2 Spirit Links. You're not necessarily going to draw into it by luck. So Adventure Bag will take care of that, and Dowsing Machine is our ace spec of choice in this deck. Why are we playing Dowsing Machine, you ask? Because we've got a bunch of really key resources. We're only playing the 1 Rescue Stretcher, the 2 Special Charges, but sometimes you need more, the 1 Great Catcher. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you only have one of and that you might sometimes need a couple extra, or the 1 Float Stone. That's really key. Either way, space is tight, so we're running a few copies of all the cards that we need. So a Dowsing Machine is really sweet for when you have to discard a useful resource. The 1 Field Blower just to bump stuff. Great Catcher is always good. You can grab an EX or GX from the bench without you having to use even though you already used your supporter for the turn, so that's actually really solid. I already talked about these, the Ultra Ball choice I talked about. We're trying to make a really consistent deck, so I'm playing 4 Trainers Mails. In the games that I played, I was running 1 Karen instead of the 1 Trainers Mail. Karen is actually pretty sweet because you can get some of your Pokemon back into your deck if they get bumped too often, because eventually you will be running out of Pokemon if people bump your Sky Fields too often. And if you're playing against Night March, Karen will literally just destroy that deck. You can basically Karen every turn, they will deal no damage. So Karen's actually kind of a sweet card in here, but I wasn't running against Night March all that often, and I wasn't finding myself using it that much, so you guys can play with or without. I'll post this very deck list onto the description, but honestly, it's kind of the same thing. It doesn't change it that much. So, as far as our supporter lineup goes, we're playing the 1 AZ. You guys all know what AZ does, picks up a Pokemon. You can heal your Rayquaza, you can pick up your Shaymin, it's a really good card. Colress, because we're running big benches. We're only running the 1 because we've got other draw supporters. We're also running the 1 Professor's Research, 1 N, and 1 Cynthia. These all have their own uses. Cynthia when you need to keep your cards, N is useful when your opponent doesn't have very many prize cards left. Sometimes it'll really save you. Actually, it does save us in one of the games that I'm about to show you. Professor Sycamore is when you really need a Savage Hand and you don't have enough on your bench to make Colress do the job. So I think it's important that you have kind of everything, and your Battle Compressor or Tapu Lele will get you the one you need at the time that you need. 1 Guzma to go pick up whatever Pokemon on the bench that you want to pick up. Then we're playing 2 Tag Team supporters, the 1 Mallow Lana because we're only playing a Float Stone, and Mallow Lana is good for switching back up because you can use it once, and then you can use it another 4 times if you really need it with your Versus Seekers, so that's a pretty good option, I think. The healing isn't that relevant. I don't think that there's anyone that would that would two-shot you if you didn't heal, and that would only and that would have to three-shot you in total if you got to heal the 120. I haven't had that be super relevant, but the switch in the effectiveness supporter is really something I love, because we're not playing Switch here, but then the Reverse Seekers kind of become switching. And then the one Guzma Hala, which this card is really, really good. I mean, let's think about it. Supporter, a tool, and special energy. You get your Sky Field, you get your triple acceleration energy, you can get your Mega Ray Spirit Link or a Float Stone if you got somebody bad in the active. It really gets you every resource you need. It's a super, super good card in this deck. What are we missing? The one quick ball, as I said, I was playing Mysterious Treasure back in the other deck. The thing is, most of the time you're kind of searching for Hoopa. It always gets you more Pokemon. It's kind of, it's better a lot of the time. So it doesn't really matter that you're playing Mysterious Treasure instead of Quick Ball. Quick Ball just gives you more options, so that's kind of great. And that would have to be the entire deck. So let's go into the, let's go give it a roll in the versus battle. Okay, so here we find ourselves our first opponent. He's playing Water, Psychic, Colorless, and Dragon. Water and Dragon makes me think we're looking at maybe an ADP. But there is no metal in that list, so it's definitely not Zacian or anything like that. So we're definitely going to choose to go second right now, because the idea of Rayquaza is that, I mean, it's a really powerful deck, but it's also pretty explosive. So we definitely have a chance of getting a one-hit KO, first turn knockout on whatever our opponent puts in front of us. And actually, even sometimes they put like a basic 60 HP Pokemon, which could actually be really solid, because then you just knock it out and dunk him for the game. And sometimes it's not, like in this case, we're definitely not winning first turn, but we can definitely get a knockout first turn, which is always a solid option. So let's get ourselves started. Our opponent is playing Mewtwo and Mew tag team, but surprisingly he seems to be we're looking at like a Blastoise Piplup back in the back there. So this is what I was saying about the Choice Band. Both of these can be actually knocked out if we put the Choice Band down. So yeah, that is a Blastoise and Piplup. I'm kind of surprised because, I don't know, you don't usually see Mewtwo lists playing this. So here, I think we're going to hold the Shaymin and the Lele. I mean, the Shaymin's not relevant at all, and I mean, we've got all the cards we might need for the Lele. Not going to put the Choice Band down because I want to be able to put a Float Stone on the Sudowoodo. But what's good is I could have put that Float Stone that Choice Band down on some random Shaymin or something, because I can then pick it back up with Magearna. Okay, so our hand here is pretty gold. We get everything we need out of the Hoopa. We're going to be able to Mega Evolve. We can even maybe just Great Catcher that Blastoise Piplup, just to make him lose some time. So we're definitely going to get ourselves one regular, one Shaymin, and one Mega. The Mega gets us an Evolve right now. We have the second Spirit Link immediately for the regular. Now let's not forget, the cool thing about this deck is, with the one Spirit Link, as soon as you've evolved, you can pick it back up with Magearna, put it back down onto the Rayquaza, and get a couple Mega Rayquazas going with the exact same Spirit Link. Here we're just placing down the Spirit Link because, you know, we don't want those cards in our hand. So let's get a Battle Compressor going, get rid of that second Exeggcute, and then of the supporters that we might be needing, Colress would be pretty nice, and Guzma Hala will be sweet. If we don't draw into our Sky Field, we might need it next turn. And here there isn't much we can do because we're out of a Shaymin, we're out of... Okay, so here we got a Rescue Stretcher, which is kind of a shame. Had we known that we were going to get a Rescue Stretcher, we would have discarded a Shaymin. Then again, if we hadn't played the Battle Compressor, we wouldn't have gotten a Rescue Stretcher. I usually play my Trainers Mails after you playing Battle Compressors. That way I don't draw into stuff that I don't want. So yeah, let's Great Catcher that Blastoise Piplup. That way he can't use ADP's attack on the first turn. I mean, hopefully, at least we can slow him down on that play. And so yeah, this turn was a little bit dead. But we did get ourselves a non-negligible amount of setup. I mean, we've got a triple colorless energy, we've got a Mega. All we need here is the Float Stone, or maybe a Mallow Lana or a Guzma, or some way of swapping into the active. So there's a couple different options, and here he Great Catchers up one of our Pokemons, which generally means that he doesn't have much of anything to do here. He plays a Cynthia. Okay, so he just wanted to use that Great Catcher to slow us down. Thing is, I don't know if that's super relevant on his part, because if we find our Float Stone, we can attach it to whomever we want. It doesn't really matter. And here we're the Sudowoodo. Yeah, we do limit his bench down to 3, so that's pretty good. We're not going to play the Rescue Stretcher, because if we do, we have to shuffle both our Exeggcutes back in. For one Exeggcute, maybe I would have done it just for the one extra card out of Shaymin, but definitely not for both of them. That would just be annoying. Here, for example, when we use our Ultra Ball, we're going to be able to take them straight out of the discard pile. That's going to be pretty good. And we did get a pretty good hand, honestly. I'm decently happy with what we got. Here, I think we're going to use a Guzma Hala, that we get our Sky Field, our Float Stone, and our triple colorless energy all in one go. Guzma Hala gets us everything we want. It's actually kind of a gold card in this deck, I'm not going to lie. We don't have to discard anything with it because we've got both our Exeggcutes in the discard pile, and when we will use our Ultra Ball, probably for a Magearna, I'm thinking, then we'll won't have to discard anything then either. So this is all pretty sweet. I love Exeggcute Expanded. I play some in basically all of my decks because I feel like it's just too solid of an option not to. Now the triple acceleration energy, I don't know what I was saying back then. We already attached one to the Mega Ray, so we don't really need one right now. It'll be good for next turn though, so that'll be okay. And then the Choice Band, I'm thinking if we take the Exeggcutes out, use our Ultra Ball, I'm thinking Magearna, we can take the Spirit Link off, and with a Choice Band, if we can get ourselves a full bench, we can actually knock this Blastoise Piplup straight out of whatever he was planning to do with it. It's not going to be super relevant to his board state because he doesn't have it loaded, and with Mew to Mew, he can still use it either way. But we're definitely getting 3 prizes right off the bat, and it's turn 2. So he doesn't have himself set up in any way, and we're definitely putting ourselves ahead with that play. So let's pick up these 2 Exeggcutes. Now the thing is, this is how we're going to have to fill up our bench. We need our 8 Pokemon on the bench, and I don't want to be taking any risks with playing the Shaymin. I don't want to get a Shaymin with the Ultra Ball because you never knew what you might get, so this is kind of a safer play. We do get our Exeggcutes on the bench, which is unfortunate, but he's probably going to bump our Sky Field, and those Exeggcutes are probably going to go straight back to the discard pile either way. And if they don't, if he doesn't bump our Sky Field, then he might just get the knockout next turn. So the way I see it, putting Exeggcutes on your bench is usually kind of a drastic measure, but as of right now, I mean, it was a really good, it was a really good option just to round it out, to round out our numbers on the bench. So this is what I was talking about when I said that the math worked out really well with Choice Band, because 270, except for that ADP, is a really, really good number to be hitting for. And I don't really know what he can do right now. I mean, he's clearly hesitating as to who to bring up, and I'm not surprised because, yeah, if I were him, I mean, he's clearly in a sticky situation right now. That Mega Lopunny and Jigglypuff isn't anyway loaded, and if he brings up the Mewtwo, what is he going to do? He can use Altered Creation GX, but that's not going to be very relevant because, I mean, we just knock him out right after, so having him surprises for knockouts that he's never going to get, it's really just not going to get. He is taking his sweet time, guys. Oh my god, I'm waiting so long for this guy. I kind of wish he would choose who he brings up. So what I did want to say though is, as you can tell, the deck is really, really, I mean, it takes off super quick. Here's the Mewtwo Mew. I really don't know if there's anything we can do. We just we set ourselves up with kind of an indestructible board. We've got 2 Mega Rays for when if he does in fact manage to knock out this Mega Ray, which does seem somewhat unfortunate. Let's see which time. He literally only has the Blastoise Pokemon on this card. So there seems to be no way that he can actually get a knockout on us, except if he does get a double colorless energy on himself, he can use this attack. He'll definitely run us over if he does that. But if he doesn't use this attack, because he doesn't have a double colorless energy, which might actually happen, we're getting the knockout right away. And if he does, we can fill up our bench with maybe the Sycamore there. We can definitely get a Mega Ray immediately into play. We've got a special charge for both the special energy that are in our discard pile right now. So there are quite a few options that we have, and he doesn't do anything. So we just take the knockout here, and we just win right away. So yeah, that's definitely pretty sweet. So yeah, I guess this was a pretty good showcase of how fast the deck can go sometimes. I'd like to see if we can get ourselves a match where it's a little bit more of a fight, maybe an opponent that gives us something to chew on a little bit more. Okay, so Dark, Fighting, Psychic, Colorless. Maybe we're looking at a Dark Turbo deck. That might be what's going on here. So he chooses who goes first, and he decides to make us play first, which is Well, it's usually not as good for us. Here we're going to have a pretty solid start. We won't be taking a knockout our first turn, but with this sort of start, you usually do take a knockout on your first turn, or at least you do start dealing damage. Because, yeah, the one of the advantages is that not only are you hitting for massive damage, but you're actually really, really quick. So that's pretty good. Where he's playing Zoroark, he's playing, I'm guessing maybe the Psychic. We're looking at a Garbodor or something. So here, see, if he had decided to play first, which I'm not exactly sure why he didn't, because if he's trying to evolve, I don't know if he knew we were playing Rayquaza from our typing. I'm not sure. Either way, usually he does. These sorts of deck do tend to play first, and then you can just kind of just go off on them, and they don't at all expect it. So here we're playing a Hoopa. We're gonna pick ourselves up a regular, a Mega, and a Shaymin again. Now this doesn't always happen. Don't get too excited. You don't always have the Spirit Link like that first turn. But here we do have an Adventure Bag. So we're gonna go pick ourselves up a Spirit Link and the Float Stone. That way we can drop a Float Stone immediately on Keldeo. We have no more retreating problems for basically the rest of the game, unless he pops the Float Stone, of course. We get our Mega into play, and here the Shaymin isn't going to be amazing because unfortunately we do have a couple cards in our hand that we don't want. But I'm thinking about attaching this triple acceleration energy, even though we're not going to attack this turn. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But it's definitely an option because we've got a bunch of ways of bringing it back either way. So I'm not sure what we're going to do here. The cool thing is we don't really need to be too aggressive. This is our first turn. We don't even need to be dealing damage. So yeah, passing the play seems like the right thing to do right now. He plays a Lily, but he already has 6 cards in hand, so he's literally just drawing 2. And he's going to pull something out with Cherish Ball, which is his Zoroark, but he can't evolve it this turn. So I'm hoping that he does bring out a base. Okay, yeah. Okay. So, I'm guessing this guy was just kind of clunking up this game. It's not a great showcase of how our deck works, but it does show that you can be impressive as well, because, I mean, even if he had kept the game going, we would probably have just kind of crushed him. He didn't have much to do. If he had played first, we would have killed him. If he was playing second, he couldn't evolve. We were definitely taking him down next time. It was a risky game for him. Alright, so here we are going to choose to play second, see if we can maybe get the damage on our first turn, and here it's not looking too good. We've got a Keldeo active, which isn't the worst of actives. I mean, it's not like it's a Shaymin or Lele. You know, you don't want to have... Okay, so he's playing a bunch of Stage 2 Grass Pokemon, which is pretty good, because that probably means he's going to start with a low Grass basic Pokemon, or like... I'm not too sure. He starts with a Lele. Well, that's basically just as good. I mean, him starting with a Lele means that, it doesn't mean much. It just means that it's not a good starter for him. He does take out the Rowlet here, so he might be evolving some stuff. Definitely not this turn, because he's playing first. But he might be making some plays next turn. This probably means we're going to be seeing a Vileplume come out pretty soon. And he does drop a Silent Lab. Now, this Silent Lab is kind of killing us. I'm going to play the Adventure Bag to get ourselves a Float Stone as soon as we have it. Unfortunately, we have literally nobody else on our bench to play any other tools on, so I'm not going to search for anything else. And I'm going to Cynthia, because if I give him a new hand, and that would just be weird. I mean, it wouldn't really make any sense to play. So, we've got ourselves a new hand. Unfortunately, our Shaymin isn't bringing us anywhere, because this Silent Lab is turning off. What do we get in our Trainers Mail? An Ultra Ball. I think that's what we're going to go for. Unfortunately, I think we might just Mega Evolve this turn with the Ultra Ball. I feel like that might be the best call. We can evolve this turn, even without the Spirit Link. We will be getting ourselves... I want to hold on to that Choice Band, because... it's making us hit perfect numbers. And I also want to hold on to the Rescue Stretcher, that way we can pick up the Shaymin if it ever does show up. So here we'll just Mega Evolve. It'll make us pass our turn, but it wasn't like we were going to attack this turn either way. This Silent Lab is definitely slowing us down. Definitely not cool. And Field Blowers are Float Stone out, which is not too sweet. I was thinking about maybe retreating the Keldeo into the Rayquaza before we Mega Evolve. The thing is, that way, I'd rather have the Keldeo taking the risks and potentially taking some damage rather than the Rayquaza. Unfortunately, our Keldeo is weak to Grass though, which means that he'll be one hit knocking us out, even though he only deals 150 damage. But, okay, so he attaches the Grass Energy. We do not see the, okay, unfortunately, we can't do anything right now. As long as the Silent Lab is out, yeah, there's nothing we can do this turn. As I was saying, he didn't take the Vileplume out just yet, which is pretty good because for some reason he didn't find his Oddish. I do hope that, so here he plays a Cynthia. Oh yeah, right, last turn he played Cynthia and Caitlyn because he didn't want to get us a new hand. So here he did find his Cynthia. Finding his Cynthia allowed him to get himself a new hand, get the Oddish, and now, I'm not gonna lie guys, we're in a pretty sticky situation. He's going to get the Vileplume out. I believe, I mean, I don't know what he's going to take out first, but either way, this is all going to be pretty sticky. Yeah, he goes for the Vileplume. So as he goes for the Vileplume, not only do we not have abilities, but we do not have our items either. So now all we could do would be attach this triple acceleration energy, which obviously is not relevant because it's getting discarded at the end of the turn. Either way, so here he's going to one-shot our Keldeo. Oh, okay, super good. So, yeah, this guy's probably going to win this one. So, the Vileplume deck is meant to lock you out, and not going to lie, this is definitely one of the weaknesses of the deck. It's that you rely a lot on your abilities, on your items, on attacking with the Mega Ray. If he has some sort of attack that blocks evolution Pokemons, you're probably going to have some trouble going through him. Now, I haven't seen any Pokemons that were blocking evolution attacks in the recent past, so I don't think that's that big of a deal. But this deck is definitely not something that we like to fight with Mega Ray. The thing is, we did have a slow start. Had we managed to, yeah, there's no point in attaching this triple acceleration energy. We've got no damage right now. Had we managed to set up before he'd taken out his Vileplume, maybe we could have done stuff, but he did drop the Silent Lab really early, which, I mean, good for him. That is the point of his deck. It does mean that, yeah, so we're definitely getting run over here. I don't think there's any way we can bring this back. I am staying in the game, though, because if we top deck, say, a Sycamore or something, we could very well draw into a Sky Field. If we do draw into a Sky Field, then we can then Hoopa. See, now this Sky Field, I'm thinking I want to play it, except if I do play it, he might, bump it again with Silent Lab. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I just wouldn't want him to, like, end me out of another hand, so I think I'll play it right now, hoping that he won't be playing the, yeah, no, it's over. Either way, I don't think there's much we can do. I just kind of attacked there for lols, but either way, the man's knocking us out this turn, so it's over. Alright, so this is an example also of when the deck doesn't work, because obviously this deck isn't, it's not perfect, and it is very weak to things that decks are usually weak to. That being item lock and ability lock. This guy definitely had us surrounded. So let's see if we can find ourselves in a match where we're kind of fair, because so far we destroyed the first two opponents, and we got completely obliterated by the guy we just fought. So I'd like to find ourselves a deck that kind of like, okay, so full dragon, I'm afraid should be looking like some Ultra Necrozma. The basic Ultra Necrozma, the one that deals 170, if he has a Silent Lab out. I really wish it wasn't that, because, I mean, I'm kind of sick of Silent Labs after this game. As a matter of fact, maybe it's not that smart of a play to bring out... Okay, so we start with the Hoopa, which isn't the best of starts, but we'll see if we can do something. The thing is, if he drops a Silent Lab on his very first turn, yeah, so it's definitely Ultra Necrozma. If he drops a Silent Lab on his first turn, which he just did, we are going to be in a sticky spot. I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna have to find ourselves a Sky Field, which we might with our Guzma Hala, or we could just Sycamore, get ourselves some other cards. Honestly, our hand is not half bad as far as starting with the Hoopa goes. If we Sycamore here, we'll just kind of get ourselves back into the game. He does have an ADP in the back, which he's loading with the Psychic Energy. That seems a little bit odd. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, well, I guess that Psychic Energy is pretty good, because that means, I mean, he can get a double Dragon Energy on, but as of right now, he's definitely not, I'm really not sure about the Guzma Hala play. Because if we get Guzma Hala, see, we get the Sky Field, but we already have the Float Stone, and the Special Energy won't be of any use to us. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna Sycamore. Great Catcher up the ADP, because, I mean, with Psychic Energy, I think he's much less of a threat than the Ultra Necrozma, especially considering that, the Ultra Necrozma can deal 170 damage, like, next turn, literally, if he gets a double dragon on, we're dead with this Hoopa. So yeah, I think the Great Catcher was not half bad of a play. We still don't have abilities yet. Unfortunately, our Sky Field is not showing up as of right now, so we can't use the Dragonite. We can use our Versus Seeker to make some crazy plays next turn, but as of right now, we can't do much, and I'm thinking that this Hoopa is going to die. If he manages to retreat, maybe get a double Dragon Energy on, this Hoopa is probably dead meat, which means that our Floatstone, I mean, it's not like that, it's that much of a waste. The Floatstone couldn't have gone anywhere else, but yeah, he plays a Guzma Hala, which means he's going to get everything he needs. He's going to pick himself up a Floatstone, a double Dragon Energy, and a second Silent Lab, probably. That way he has his Silent Lab as soon as we pop it, so that's going to be unfortunate. And with a Floatstone and a double Dragon Energy, he can get attacking, knock out this Hoopa. So that's definitely not great. Fortunately for us, though, we've got a Versus Seeker, we've got ourselves a Sycamore. We can actually, well, we can't pick up the Hoopa with the Rescue Stretcher, but we can shuffle it back into the deck, so that's going to be okay, I guess. And I do think we can, I mean, I believe that we can still bring it back if we do manage to get ourselves started. The thing about this deck is, as soon as that Silent Lab is off the board, I'm not going to lie, we're probably going to pick up real fast, or at least we're going to be able to make some plays. The Colress is a terrible idea right now because we literally have two Pokemon on the bench, but Sycamoring that Colress isn't going to be half bad because unfortunately we can't discard the Dragonite, so when we shuffle 3 Pokemon it will literally just be the Hoopa, but the Sycamoring that Colress will mean that we have access to it as soon as we need, so that isn't half bad at all. So now here we've got 7 cards. We probably get a Sky Field because there's only so many cards we can draw without getting a Sky Field. And now we can actually pick ourselves up. We've got an Ultra Ball. We've got that will probably be a second Hoopa if we have one. I'm going to drop the Choice Band on the Sudowoodo, and this is what I was saying. You can drop it on some random players. I mean, especially considering that Choice Band isn't going to be very relevant in this matchup. We're playing against a basic Pokemon. We only have one Sky Field left though, and that's kind of relevant because we have to discard the other one here with our Ultra Ball. It's a good thing we've got our Hoopa and it's not prized though. So, I'm going to pick up a Mega Ray because I don't really need that many cards right now, and with the Mega Ray we can actually get a 6-card Shaymin. And then we might use our Hoopa later on, considering we only have one in the game right now. So, as I was saying, the Choice Band, we can drop it on some random Pokemon just to get them out of our hand and get better cards out of Shaymin. And then we just need the one Pokemon to knock him out. Yeah, let's put it at some, and then just pick him up. Let me finally finish this sentence. So here we've got 120 damage with Mega Ray, which isn't amazing. I wouldn't say we've completely set up, but at least we do get a knockout on the Necrozma, which is going to make it a tad bit harder for him to get himself a knockout next turn. And for that matter, even if he does bring out a new Necrozma, he won't be knocking us out next turn. So that's actually pretty good. So let's see what he does. Alright, so he teammates, I believe. Wasn't looking. So here, he definitely had his second Silent Lab, but we knew about that. Because he drew it literally last turn. So he does have a Necrozma, and here he teammates. Okay, well it makes sense. He was either going to Guzma Hala teammates. He drew the teammates off the Search 3.0, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, okay. So I'm looking at this Shaymin here, and I'm wondering whether we just drew it out of the prize cards. And we did just draw that Shaymin out of our prize cards. Because I was thinking, hey, you probably should have played that Shaymin if you had it in your hand. But I'm not that dumb. It was actually in our prize cards. So that's actually pretty good because we have our Sky Field, which is kind of lucky. I mean, it's our last Sky Field, so we're going to want to be careful. But here there's only so many turns that he can Guzma Hala, and then he'll have his Ultra Necrozma in hand. Eventually, if we keep on running them out, we will be able to make some decent plays out of this. So, I think we're going to play a Mysterious Treasure here. Discard the Guzma because it's not very relevant right now, which means we can pick up our Hoopa-EX. That's kind of the reason we're playing Mysterious Treasure, apart from the Rayquaza. It's generally the Hoopa that we're going to want to play. Actually, to be perfectly honest, it might be a better play to take Quick Ball, Actually, it's clearly a better play to make a Quick Ball because all the Pokemon we're looking to search are basic Pokemons, and we can get some more of them with Quick Ball. So yeah, definitely swap that out for Quick Ball. I don't know why I didn't think about that before. We have our Shaymin in hand, so I think we're just... And actually the Mega isn't very relevant either. So we're just going to pick up a Keldeo here. So not the best of play... I mean, not the best of cards to get, but we did get 2 Pokemons onto our bench with just the 1 Mysterious Treasure, so that's okay. And we're going to put the Choice Band onto the Hoopa because we can just pick it back up as soon as we get a Magearna into play. Unfortunately, we only have 1 more spot, and that's because of the Exeggcute, but if he does bump our Sky Field 1 more time, we get in a better situation. And here what's good is, as soon as I knock out the Ultra Necrozma, he's going to have to promote the ADP, and there is no more Floatstone in his ADP. So, you know, if he plays Guzma Hala, it's not going to be that big of a deal for him. But if he doesn't play the Guzma Hala, if he doesn't have a Guzma Hala, it's going to mean more cards that he has to get. Say, if he plays Teammates again, for example, he can pick up the Ultra Necrozma, but not a Double Dragon Energy and a Floatstone. He can't get everything he needs. So we're going to be in a better situation. I'm going to discard the Triple Acceleration Energy just so I can shuffle it back in with the Special Charge. We finally get our Magearna. So that's going to be pretty good because we're going to take our Spirit Link off, put it maybe straight onto the next Rayquaza. That way he's ready to go. And I'm not sure if we used a supporter this turn. I'm thinking that we did not use our supporter yet, so that's pretty good because now we can set up with a full hand Sycamore. So this is going to be huge, and actually we're going to Colress. That's a lot smarter. We get 9 cards instead of 7. It's not very relevant that we shuffle our hand back into our deck, but the new cards is really good, and now we're insanely set up. I think we're going to be able to bring this game back. Unfortunately, if he does manage to attack with Ultra Necrozma again, which seems somewhat likely, he will be knocking out the Mega Ray that's here. But now we've got a second Mega Ray going, so that's not half bad. I'd love to swap our active Mega Ray for the non-active Mega Ray, but we don't have a Floatstone anymore because we lost it on the first Hoopa. Let's play this Trainers Mail, see what we get out of it. We get a Battle Compressor, so that's pretty sweet. We only have 7 cards in our deck, so we should be pretty careful, but we can go discard the last few supporters that we might want to have in our discard pile with versus Seeker. So let's I'm just wondering if there's anything interesting to do here before the Mega Ray Spirit Link doesn't go anywhere. The Ultra Ball isn't relevant. Honestly, we're not going to Battle Compressor right now because I don't want to thin my deck out too much, but it's definitely going to be sweet sometime later on in the future to have that, and maybe if we have a specific idea of what we'll need. And we've got a Mallow Lana, so if he doesn't knock us out right now, we can definitely swap right back out of our Rayquaza, heal him, and get our second Mega Rayquaza into play. If that does happen, we're in a great situation. Now that would actually be amazing. Now we've got 1 Triple Acceleration Energy in our discard pile, and it's the one that we just lost here, so that's pretty good. It means that we've got 3 in our deck, so that means quite a few more attacks here. Now 3 in our deck isn't half of enough to get down all these Ultra Necrozmas, but if we take down a, it's always going to take 2 turns to take down an ADP. But if we do take down an ADP with 2 attacks, that would be 2 triple, okay, so he uses Guzma Hala. 2 triple acceleration energies, we can take down and get 3 prizes on the ADP, so that would be pretty sweet. Our Sky Field gets bumped, which isn't too bad. Honestly, I don't really care. We get our Shaymin out of play, we get our Exeggcute into our discard pile, and 5 is more than enough bench Pokemon to take care of the Ultra Necrozma that he's going to be throwing at us here. So he's definitely taking the knockout on the Mega Ray, but the thing is, I'd love to top deck the Triple Colorless Energy. If I do, we can end him, and if we end him down to 2 cards, because here he's taking 2 prize cards, right? So he's going to have 4 cards in hand. That's 5 when he draws. That's a lot of resources. Unfortunately, we can't afford to oh my god, we just top decked the Triple Acceleration Energy. Well, that's amazing. Well, see here we're actually in a good spot. We can actually bring this back because we put the Triple Acceleration Energy on, which allows us to end. We can now afford to, definitely gonna take down the card we don't want. Honestly, the Adventure Bag isn't very useful, but there is a Mega Ray Spirit Link that could at some point turn out to be useful, and I don't want to discard too many cards. I mean, I kind of want to keep some cards in my deck for when it happens, if this takes a couple more turns after this. And I just wanted to get the Karen in the discard pile if I needed it at some point. That way I could access it with versus Seeker. So, here we're taking a knockout, even though we only have 4 bench Pokemon, and that's what's pretty good. Ultra Necrozma does not have that much HP, so we don't need to have a ridiculously big bench. We've got another Sky Field, which is pretty good for the abilities, but not going to be very relevant against the ADP. All we need to do against this ADP here, okay, so we Lysander us, which means that if we can get ourselves a Mallow Lana, I believe our Mallow Lana is in our deck. We just ended back into our deck, so if we've got, what, 7, we'll have 6 cards in our deck next turn. Our Trainers Mail is going to get us like 66% of our deck. Unfortunately, this Versus Secret doesn't get us the Mallow Lana, I believe, because it's not in the discard pile. And we're not allowed to use Guzma if he only has 1 Pokemon in play. This end was pretty good though. You see here, he would, with full hand, he'd probably have taken out another Necrozma, made some crazy plays, potentially just knocked out this Hoopa or something. As of right now, he seems pretty stuck. I mean, we put up the ADP, he hasn't been using it all game. He probably isn't planning to. Unfortunately, we've got nothing to switch in our discard pile, so let's just hope we draw the Mallow Lana. We do. We get the Mallow Lana. So that is really sweet. I mean, the odds of that happening were pretty high. We literally had 6 cards in our deck when it happened. But here we get the triple acceleration energy on. Thing is, 120 isn't half of enough. It's literally not half of enough because we need 140 to two-shot him. So 120 means we won't be two-shotting him. I don't want to put that into risk because 150 plus 120 is only 170. We won't knock him out if we play a 5th Pokemon right now. So what I'm going to do is take out this Exeggcute, make it 150 damage, which might make, because he's definitely not knocking out this Mega Ray next turn here. So if we can take the 3 prize cards by taking out this, yeah, actually we've won here, because the Ultra Necrozma won't knock us out, unless he has like Ultra Necrozma and Guzma and the Double Dragon, and he can take out like the Keldeo for the last 2 prize cards. Here we've got the Versus Seeker for the Guzma. We've got literally everything we need. Honestly, even if he ends us, we get 3 cards plus another one. It seems pretty unlikely that he can beat us right now. What is he going to pop? The Sky Field? Maybe a Spirit Link or a Choice Band? Yeah, that doesn't seem very relevant. Maybe if we had taken the Spirit Link off a little early with the Magearna, I kind of forgot to, we could have put the Choice Band on. I didn't really focus on that because either way, Choice Band or no Choice Band, that ADP would not have died as a one-shot. But yeah, the Choice Band would actually not have been half bad of a play to put. But here, all we're going to need is our last triple colorless energy, which is in our deck, I checked. But we do have 3 in our discard pile, so what I'm going to do is, we just have to, I think we're just going to Guzma Hala, pick up the reason I'm hesitating is because I'm now wondering if I did in fact see it in the deck. I'm kind of stressed out about that. Because if there is no triple acceleration and energy in our deck, if it's in our prize cards, we're done for. Like, even though we almost brought this game back, we've definitely lost if there is no triple acceleration energy in there. So I'm a little bit stressed. I don't want to Sycamore, just in case, like, I mean, it's not like we're going to win. If we don't have a triple acceleration energy, we're definitely going to lose. But I'm hoping that this Guzma Hala, yeah, we're definitely going to lose, so it doesn't really change anything if we play a Sycamore or a Guzma Hala. So I'm thinking maybe a Karen, but even with Karen, we're just going to give him Mew and Ultra Necrozmas. Damn, I really wish I was sure of myself as far as the triple acceleration energies go. Well, either way, I don't think there's anything else I can do right now. That's actually why I'm playing 2 special charges, because even with 2 special charges, you discard so many cards in the deck. Sometimes you discard the special charges, sometimes you discard the special energies. Either way, okay, yeah, I was right. It was there. Okay, cool. Well, then we win, because now with our second 150 damage, we actually take the knockout, which gives us both, well, he has an empty board, and we take the last 3 prize cards. So that is pretty sweet. Yeah, I was a little bit stressed out there that we didn't have the energies. That is the one, like, real weakness of the deck. Okay, so I hoped you liked it. I was pretty happy with these games. I feel like they showcased kind of everything we needed to show about the deck.